What if I told you that watching every single match at the World Cup could cost you more than a house? Not a flat, not a deposit, a whole house paid in full. I'm talking about 104 matches across 39 days, 3 countries, 16 cities, from the opening whistle in Mexico City to the final in New Jersey. Some people dream about doing this. A handful actually try, but almost nobody asks the real question: what does it actually cost to be there for all of it? I sat down and added up every ticket, every flight, every hotel night, every overpriced stadium burger, and by the end of this video, you're gonna see a number that I promise will make you sit up. So before you start saving up, let me show you exactly what you'd be signing up for. The dream. Close your eyes for a second. Picture it. It's June. The biggest football tournament on Earth has just kicked off. The group stage begins on June 11th, when Mexico hosts South Africa in the opener at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. You're in the stadium, 83,000 people around you. The roar when the ball hits the net, the flags, the drums, the songs in 20 different languages. Then you fly to the next city and the next. You meet a guy from Argentina who's been saving for 4 years. You share a beer with fans from Japan, Morocco, Brazil. Strangers 1 minute, brothers the next. You're not watching the World Cup, you're living it. And then, after 5 weeks of chaos and color and noise, you're there for the final, July 19th at New York, New Jersey Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's the ultimate football pilgrimage. Now, let's find out what the bill looks like. Tickets. Let's start with the obvious one. Tickets. This year is different. It's bigger than any World Cup in history, a total of 104 matches, 72 in the group stage and the rest in the knockout rounds. That's a lot of turnstiles. Now here's where it gets tricky. FIFA isn't using flat prices. Ticket prices use dynamic pricing, meaning costs shift based on match demand, teams, city, and sales phase. The price moves like a stock chart. Let's break it down by stage. For the group stage, the cheapest seats are real but rare. Category 4 tickets begin at $60, but there seem to be precious few of those. And once you're out of the early portion of the tournament, the $60 tickets disappear altogether. So if you want to watch all 72 group matches, you're not paying $60 a pop. Realistically, the average decent seat sits somewhere around $200 to $300 each once demand kicks in. Across 72 games, even at a careful average of $250, that's already $18,000. And we've barely started. Now, the knockouts. This is where the numbers get scary. Category 1 tickets range from around $200 for group stage matches to $1,100 and up for the final. But that's just face value. The reality on the open market is wilder. As of April 2026, the price of a single match ticket on the official platform varied from about $60 all the way up to $11,990. Let me say that again. One ticket, $11,000. For the final alone, the eye-watering top end is real. Final ticket prices reach as high as $7,875 for a Category 1 seat. Let's be sensible and assume you're not buying the most expensive seat at every knockout. Say you average around $600 a ticket across the 32 knockout matches, then splurge for the semis and final. That's roughly $20,000 more. Add it up?
Let's add it up. Current total, $38,000. And we haven't left the house yet. Here's the thing people forget. This World Cup is enormous. A total of 16 cities will host matches, 11 in the United States, 3 in Mexico, and 2 in Canada. It's the largest and most geographically spread World Cup in history. We're talking Mexico City to Vancouver, Miami to Los Angeles, Toronto to Dallas. These aren't short hops. Some of these flights are 5 or 6 hours coast to coast. First, you've got to get there. If you're flying in from South Africa, a return international flight to North America in peak summer easily runs $1,200 to $1,800. From the UK, maybe $900. From Brazil, around $1,500. Let's say $1,500 to get in and out. Then the real cost begins, the internal flights. To follow all 104 matches, you'd be hopping between cities constantly. Realistically, that's 30 to 40 separate flights over 39 days. Even at a modest $200 average per domestic flight, and in peak World Cup demand, that's optimistic, you're looking at around $7,000 just bouncing between host cities. Worst case, with surge pricing on match days, double it. Let's stay reasonable. $1,500 international plus $7,000 domestic. Current total, $46,500. And we're now well past the price of a brand new car, and you still need somewhere to sleep. Accommodation. Okay, 40 days on the road. You need a bed every single night. Now you've got choices. Budget option, hostels. In the cheaper cities, maybe $50 a night for a bunk in a shared room. But in match cities, during the World Cup, prices explode. Mid-range hotels? Brace yourself. Hotels are pushing past $500 a night in many host cities. Let that sink in. $500 for a standard room while the tournament is on. Let's split the difference and assume you're not living in luxury, but you're not always in a hostel bunk either. Say a blended average of $250 a night across 39 nights. That's $9,750 just for sleeping. And here's the part that stings. You will have spent more money sleeping for 5 weeks than many people spend on rent for an entire year. Think about that. A full year's rent gone on hotel rooms you'll barely remember. Current total, $56,250. Food in daily life. Now, the small stuff, except it's never small. Let's walk through a normal day. Breakfast, coffee and something to eat, $15. Lunch on the go between cities, $20. Dinner, a proper one because you're exhausted and starving, $35. That's $70 a day just on food, and we're being modest. Then there's the stadium itself. You know the one, that stadium burger. You'll probably buy it, and it might cost you 3 times what you'd pay back home. A beer inside? $15. 2 beers and a snack, and you've dropped $50 without blinking. Now add the rest. Public transport and taxis between the airport and the hotel and the stadium, mobile data so you can actually find your way around 3 different countries, a scarf here, a jersey there, a pin badge you absolutely did not need. Realistically, you're spending around $120 to $150 a day on food, transport, and the little things. Over 39 days at $130 a day, that's just over $5,000. And honestly, that's the careful version. So, let's stop and add it all up. Tickets, $38,000. Flights, $8,500. Hotels, $9,750. Food and daily life, $5,000. The grand total to watch every single match at the World Cup live in person, around $61,000. And that's the sensible version. Push for better seats and nicer hotels, and you blow straight past $100,000. Now let's put that in perspective, because a big number on its own means nothing until you compare it to a paycheck. In South Africa, the average annual salary is roughly 300,000 rand, about $16,000 a year. So this trip would cost almost 4 years of the average South African's entire salary, before tax, before rent, before food. In the United States, the average worker earns around $60,000 a year. That's 1 full year of work, every single dollar gone on football. In England, the average salary is about £37,000, roughly $47,000, so well over a year of labor. In Brazil, the average salary is around $9,000 a year. This trip would cost nearly 7 years of the average Brazilian's income. So, ask yourself, how many months or years would you need to work just to sit in those seats? For most people on this planet, the answer is most of their working life.
Now, before you give up entirely, let's be fair. Not everyone does it the expensive way. Let's split this into 3 kinds of fan. The budget fan. This person isn't watching all 104 matches. They're smart. They pick maybe 8 to 10 games, Category 4 tickets where they can get them, hostel bunks, buses instead of flights, street food instead of stadium burgers. A trip like this, around $4,000 to $6,000. Tough, but doable for someone who saves hard for a couple of years. The comfort fan. Mid-range hotels, decent Category 2 seats, a handful of flights between cities, maybe 15 matches across 2 weeks, including a knockout game. This fan is looking at roughly $15,000 to $20,000, the price of a used car spent on a once-in-a-lifetime trip. The luxury fan. VIP hospitality, premium seats at the final, 5-star hotels, business-class flights, every match they want, no compromise. This is where it gets absurd. At resale prices, 2 World Cup final tickets cost about the same as a used car on their own. Add hospitality packages and the luxury experience for the full tournament climbs well past $150,000. For some, it touches $250,000. That's not a holiday. That's a property deposit with a football scarf on top. Reality check. So let's be honest with each other. Is watching every match at the World Cup realistic? For almost everyone, no, not even close. The every single match dream is basically a millionaire's hobby. It's for the ultra-wealthy, a few influencers, and people getting paid to be there. But here's the more useful question. How much would you need to enjoy it comfortably? Not all 104 games, but a real, proper World Cup experience. To do it without stress, a week or 2, good seats, a nice hotel, a knockout match, you'd want around $20,000 set aside, and an income that doesn't miss that money. Realistically, that means earning well into 6 figures or saving seriously hard for a few years. The truth is, FIFA knows the demand is global, and they've priced it for the people who can pay. The majority of tickets run into the hundreds and eventually the thousands of dollars, pricing most ordinary people out of going to the matches. That's not an accident. That's the business model. So here's where we land. The World Cup lasts 39 days. The memories last a lifetime. But the bill? That might follow you around for a lot longer than the tournament does. For the price of watching every match, you could buy a house in most of the world. You could pay for a wedding, a car, a down payment on a future. And yet, every 4 years, people do it anyway. Because for one summer, football makes them feel something money usually can't buy. So I want to know, be honest in the comments, would you spend $60,000 to be there in person? Or would you rather keep the money, stay on your couch, and watch all 104 matches for the price of a snack and a streaming subscription? Tell me below. And if this opened your eyes, you know what to do.